So, how was your first experience in LA County? For those who've never been locked up in county, and hopefully they don't get locked up, man. But this is for just so you can get a perspective of how things were around that time and still how they're right now. But how was your first experience in LA County, which is supposed to be like one of the hardest counties, or maybe the hardest county in California? If I, you know what I mean? If I'm
Yeah.
keeping it real. So, how
Well,
was?
back when I went, what I mean, man, I mean, everything was open. Everybody was walking around.
Uh
You know, you were able to, what I mean, to do things. You know what I mean?
huh.
You start. I would say, branching out.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And right there, it's just like it's a dark place
Yeah.
where, I mean, you could become a victim quick.
Yes. You have to be careful with the way you speak and make sure you don't open your mouth more than what you should and watch
Yes,
your actions.
yeah.
You know?
And it was live. It was live then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was like, man, so many melees. It was just off the wall.
Hey, you're talking about the 80s, right? This is
Yeah,
this
that's when
80s?
that's when we were able to have money.
Yeah. Oh, have
You know,
cash? You still have cash in the county?
yeah, that's when we were able to have cash. What I mean, in our possession.
Oh,
Man, we used to see people getting robbed. Like
that's insane. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, who's you know what I mean? Yeah, just the fact of you having money being locked up, you can be victimized hella quick, right? So
yes,
and I cannot imagine having money in county, man. That's insane. But now
yeah.
let's jump to the big leagues, man. Let's jump to the when you got your number. How it was. Tell me how it was when you went to prison the first time.
Well, the first time it was like, man, when I received my number, I said, okay. And they sent me to Soledad. And so this is the first time, me really actually being in the prison.
What year is
And
this past time? What year was this?
like 87, 88.
87. Okay, so this one you
Yeah.
went.
Yeah. I was 18 years old. And
Uh
so when I first entered the yard, you know what I mean? I'm looking around. I said, okay. You know what I mean? I'm already being observed of everything.
huh.
And, at that time, it was either recognized who's who, who's not,
Uh huh.
because, people would sport their color.
Yes.
And so when they took me into the building, I looked up because it's three tiers.
Uh huh.
And I said, oh, man. I said, all right. I said, I got to be careful here. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I said,
Got
I don't want to get thrown off the tier or something.
yeah. I don't got no wings.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And you know, and so, there are, what I mean, my mentality was already changing where, you know what I mean, okay, this is it.
Uh huh.
This is what I wanted. This is, what I mean, what brought me to it. You know what I mean? To the point where, you know what I mean, growing up is, you know what? Okay, I wanted it to represent myself into a different level.
Yes.
And that's, to me, was what I actually thought.
So that Soledad, what level was that?
Well, I ended up going to Central first, which was a
Uh huh.
level 4,
Uh huh.
right? And then from there, I ended up going to level 3.
Okay, so there's a big difference between level 4 and level 3 in prison.
Oh, man, big difference. You know
Uh
what I
huh.
mean? You can put it like this. You know what I mean? I would represent as this: a violent place to a mediocre violent place.
That's something that I agree and always say, man. Like it's crazy how one level makes a big difference. It's a
Yeah,
big difference. You can see the way people carry themselves, the type of characters there is, and that level 4 compared to a level 3, man. It's a big difference, man. And some people don't grasp that. Like, at the end
yeah,
of the day, any prison is dangerous, right?
yeah,
But I mean, once you go to that level 4, you feel the tension. You see everybody is willing to take it to that level.
yeah.
Every single individual.
You're walking on eggshells
Yeah,
when
exactly.
you're at a level 4, because it's like it's not a game here. This this is for real.
Uh huh.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean. You play for keeps right here. You know what I mean.
Yes.
Nobody goes for your BS. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I mean. It's there's a big difference.
Okay, so 1987, man. Oops. You were going in and out, in and out. How many times you went in and out? Do you remember how many times you basically caught
But
a
I could
error?
I could tell you this much. Since the age of what 10, 11, when I first started getting arrested,
Uh huh.
and to the time where I actually got a parole this time,
Uh huh.
the longest I ever stood out was maybe 2 months out of each incarceration.
2 months.
Yeah,
2 months. So basically, your whole life was in prison.
yeah.
Basically,
I grew up in there.
that was basically your life, going in and out, going in and out. Eventually, you were on this last term, sent to life. Uh, let's say, at what point or what made was your turning point that made your decision be, you know what, this is not for me, Charles. I'm done. There's something better than this. At what point in your life, and what was that thing that made you turn your life around?
Okay, so I could say in 2010, I ended up losing my mom
Uh huh.
to ovarian cancer,
Uh huh.
and then my sister 5 months later to the same thing, ovarian cancer.
Hmm.
And I remember that day I talked to my mom when she was at her dying bed, and the whole term that I had been down, I never got to see my mom.
Uh huh.
And when I actually talked to her on the phone, the first thing I said to her was, "You know what, Mom, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being a bad son and not being that person that you know I was." And our moms is, I mean, they always love us no matter what, good or
Yeah.
bad. And I remember the exact words my mom would say. I mean, she would tell me, "Papi, papi." She goes, te quiero,
Yes.
cuídate, cuídate mucho. And I ended up taking a picture and I sent it to her. And my nephew showed it to her, and she seen it. She smiled, and she passed away.
Wow.
And so from 2010 to 2015, I became even more angry because I lost those loved ones that I left behind,
Hmm.
that I knew I was never going to see again. So I actually felt I was alone now, right? So I ended up catching more time because of that anger that I had in me
Hmm.
of losing them. And I went to court. They gave me 8 more years
Uh huh.
uh, added to my sentence.
Yes.
And in 2015, one day I woke up. That's from getting high, being drunk, and all that, right?
Yeah.
I sat on my bed and it hit me.
Uh huh.
Tears started coming down. This was 4 years later.
Yes.
And I had a spiritual awakening
Yes.
where everything just started flashing of everything, my whole life, everything I did, all the harm that I caused in society to my loved ones, to losing my loved ones. Um, it just hit me. And I looked at my Sally and I just told him, "Hey, I can't do this no more." And he just looked at me. He didn't know how to respond because
Yes.
in the emotion that I was in.
Uh huh.
I cried. I sat there and I cried for hours. What I mean? I tried to stop, but it just all came out.
Uh huh.
And that day I remember it was December 12th, 2015
Uh huh.
was the day that my life changed forever. That's when I started seeking God,
Hmm.
and it just changed me.
Wow, that's crazy. And
Yeah.
and you brought a good point. That's something that we don't pay attention to. But look at you. 2 months that's the max that you were out on the streets for every time you did a term, right?
Yeah.
Just think about this. Your mom, how long you were with your mom? How many times she saw you? Because I mean, I see that like regular individuals, regular citizens, they go to with the moms, go to dinner. They're right. It's normal for they going to the party, going to the whatever reunion. But for somebody like you who was in and out, it seems like you're involved in this and this how will you call it mentality, and where this is what you care, this is what you value, this is who you are, but you forget about the things that are important in our lives, our families. You putting your mom to the side, but I can only imagine what your mom, how she felt looking at you, how you did all this reckless stuff with your life, you know. Uh, and a lot of people do that, not understanding how you are affecting your family members.
Yeah.
So,
Well, my mom always saw the ugly part of me. You know what I mean? Of the
uh
person that I became. You
yeah,
know what I mean? She seen that, but she looked at me as that loving son.
yes,
You know, and even though that I put her through everything that I put her through
uh huh,
because of my bad choices and decisions,
uh huh,
um, she was still there, cheering me on, telling me that I know you're gonna change, mijo. I know you're gonna become better. This is not you,
never losing
you
hope.
know. Yeah. To me it's like, you know what I mean? I finally understood that hope is believing in something that is not seen and not known. You know what I
Yes,
mean? And that's where your faith comes in. But when you're in that lifestyle, you know what I mean, you become selfish.
uh huh,
You're selfish. You don't think about others.
uh huh,
You know what I mean? You only think about yourself and your gains. And I realize all the pain and suffering that I caused my family. Not only
yes,
my family, you know what I mean, but society, you know what I mean, for becoming that just violent criminal person,
yeah,
and I don't look at it. I don't regret everything I did.
uh huh,
I regret the violence that I created, you
yes,
know, but I believe that I had to go through the life that I went through to get to the point where God wanted me.
mm-hmm,
You know what I'm saying? Because what it is, and to my understanding, it's my testimony to give to those that are following that safe path.
yeah,
And to me, it's like, you know, I'm called to become that light in that dark place.
that's what's up, man.
You know what I mean? Is who better to go into those dark places than somebody that came out of that dark places?
Exactly, exactly,
You know what I mean? Because they're gonna more understand you than somebody with a PhD or MD, whatever. You know what I
exactly,
mean?
yes,
Because you live that style, you went through it.
yeah, and people just act like they know about it, but they never been
Yeah,
through it.
they never been through it. So for me, it's like, you know what I mean, is becoming that person that, you know what I mean, show the others that, you know what I mean, there is a way, there is light in that dark tunnel.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
know, it's a battle every day. It's a battle every day. But you know
Exactly.
what? But one thing that I've learned is that, you know what I mean, no matter how many times you fall, you get back up and you
Yep.
keep going. You strive forward. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
to me, it's like, you know what I mean? Man, I cherish life. Life to me is a
Amen.
blessing.
Amen.